Welcome back, everyone. Today on What's in Your Mind, we welcome a well-renowned psychologist, Mr. Freud.
Is this working? Can you?
Yes, you're on, Mr. Freud.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me, and as always, thank your mother.
Anyways, let's get this interview started. Can anyone guess what Freud is known for? Here's a hint to all the adults watching back at home. Think back to your childhood.
It's psychoanalysis. How do you not know what I discovered? Invited me here.
Okay, Mr. Freud. But this isn't everything you did. Could you give the audience a speech about yourself?
I suppose. I started as a neurologist, trying to bring relief to my neurotic patients.
Interesting.
I discovered many facts about the unconscious, the role of instinctual urges, and so on.
Through these discoveries, Mr. Freud found a new science called psychoanalysis, which is a new
Correct.
part of psychology and treatment. Could you talk about your journey to this achievement, sir?
It was difficult. Many people did not believe in my facts and thoughts. They said my theories are unsavory. Resistance was strong and unrelenting, but in the end, I succeeded.
Thank you. Now I'll ask you some questions. What are your thoughts on the unconscious mind?
The unconscious mind, you say? I'm very familiar with the unconscious. I believe the unconscious has a large influence over us, especially how we think and act from a young age. I could tell you more about my theories and research. I think you would be fond of my 5 stages of psychosexual development.
That would be amazing. But first, let's talk about one of your most memorable experiments, Little Hans. Could you describe the operational process as well?
An experiment, you say? I refute that claim kindly. But Little Hans was indeed a case study.
My apologies on using the wrong term, but on the topic of experiments, there are articles on your use of a certain substance. Could you elaborate on why you use it and the benefits for you personally?
If you're speaking of a certain substance, I suppose I do indulge in it. I've experimented with cocaine and the benefits for a long time. Throughout my usage, I have discovered it helps with digestion and it lifts your spirits. My preferred method is to put it in my water and drink it daily. Let me demonstrate.
Okay.
Then I drink it. Sometimes I need to snort a whole bag to make it through the day.
Thank you
Yes.
once again. But now I would like to focus on the validity of your research. Could you tell the audience about that, please?
About what, exactly?
An example of this, to clear it up for you, Mr. Freud, would be a mode, median, mean, or any other variable in your collected data.
I've never heard of such things. But, to answer your question, my evidence is a collection of my own observations and research. If you want, I can do a study on you, if you would like.
So what you're saying is your work is not backed up with real evidence, just your personal observations. That would be considered biased and faulty, Mr. Freud.
Freud. But I suppose correct. In some views. Precisely.
Back to the topic of the case study. If you had a chance to do one on me, what research would you do?
On you, I suppose I would focus on your developmental process. As I once said, based on my 5 stages of psychosexual development.
Could you explain to the audience what those 5 stages of development are?
Of course, for those who don't know, my famous 5 stages of psychosexual development include the oral. It is through your birth and your first year of age. The anal, 1 to 3 years of age. The phallic, 3 to 5 or 6 years of age. The latent, 6 years to puberty. And the genital. The final stage, adulthood.
On the topic of adulthood, could you tell us about your theory on adult personality?
I see what you did there. My theory is composed of 3 elements: the ID, the ego, and the super ego. All of these elements work together to create human behaviors. Complex at that.
Are there any controlled groups in your experiments? And how do other psychologists view your preference of assessment?
Other psychologists, they believe my way of research is biased and has many weaknesses. Some may say my research is abnormal and not supported because I have no controlled groups. Absurd. But clearly I think those opinions are faulty. They don't know the true way of the mind and development.
Would there ever be a replication of any of your case studies?
My case studies, you say? They can never be replicated because they are so unique to me and my style of research. Also, my case studies are focused on one person at a time to ensure it to be unique, different from others. It would be extremely difficult to replicate.
Of course, Mr. Freud. Thank you for your time. That's
Freud.
Okay, Mr. Freud. That's all for now, folks. Tune back in next time for another episode of What's in Your Mind. This was truly an experience.
Thank your mother, indeed.